So what happens when you try to ferment a pilsner in a barrel? Well, you end up with this. I mean, it's sort of like a pilsner, but it's also very much not. Okay, so meet the Legno Oro. So this is, in fact, a golden ale. So it is inspired by Czech and German pilsners, but you can't just take a pilsner and expect it to work when you just chuck it in a barrel and try to ferment it. Now, I know what you're saying. There's probably someone out there who said, yeah, but I could done it, so-and-so's done it, I can just do it, and yeah, someone's probably done it. But their beer is not on my bar right now, is it? It's all about adapting it to the process. So what they've done is that they've actually replaced the pilsner malt that you would typically find in a pilsner. Well, pilsner malt in a pilsner. Just let that sink in for a few seconds. But yes, so instead of using pilsner malt, they've replaced that with Munich malt, which has a little bit more depth of flavour and is often added to lagers and pilsners and those sorts of beers to just add a little bit of depth of flavour. So the Munich malt will help balance out the oak flavours a lot more than what a dry, crackery and fairly light flavour pilsner malt typically would. But don't worry, this is still claimed to have been hopped like a traditional pilsner. Legno say that they do use traditional pilsner-like hops and a pilsner-like hopping regime. Almost like a pilsner, really. It is very much as close as you can get to say a pilsner, but they have adapted it for their unique barrel fermenting process. So this does sound super exciting to try. So it should be nice and light and drinkable. I mean, it is 6%, so it is a little bit more alcohol than your traditional pilsner, but it should still have those light drinkable qualities with some extra added subtle complexity and depth from the Munich malt, but also from their unique barrel fermenting process. Let's give this beer a taste. First we need to open it. You know what they really should do? They should actually sell their own bottle openers that fit the bottles. Or maybe I should just go and buy a bigger bottle opener. Imagine if the beer came with a bottle opener, but that could open the bottle. So, for the appearance, might be a bit hard to see from back there, but the appearance is, it's like a deep gold with a nice white fluffy head with a slight haze. Slight haze is probably the way to describe it. About on the nose. My first initial thoughts is oak barrel. Subtle oakiness or a subtle oak wood vibe that I got from the previous beer, the Primo. So, I'm expecting there to be some similarities between the beers as they all use the same unique fermentation in the barrel process. So you'd expect something similar across their three beers from that. Thought I got just like a very, very subtle sense of almost like a bit of breadiness. Not getting too much hoppiness. I think I can get like a subtle hint of, it's almost like a floral character maybe, but mostly just a very smooth, low intensity oak flavour with a little bit of breadiness. So the mouthfeel, I'd say it's moderate, not light. It's not as light as drinking a pilsner. A little bit of oakiness. There's a little bit of that subtle oak flavour, not like having a barrel-aged beer or like a wine or strong like that. It's very subtle and complex. It's actually quite nice, actually. Something a bit different from your traditional barrel-aged beers. I don't know, maybe there's like a slight nutty flavour and a slight savoury bread-like character. Well, it's a bit crackery, but that could just be the combination of all the things going on. But there's definitely like a hint of a little bit of savoury breadiness going on, and maybe a little bit of nuttiness. Maybe it's the best way to describe it. There's a little bit more of a spicy herbal character, which I'm assuming is from the hops. Spicy herbal character with some of that breadiness is giving me that savoury feeling. But despite what I said before, that while yes, it's not light like a Pilsner, it's not too firm. It is actually quite light and refreshing for something that's been in a barrel and is 6% as well. So, oh yeah, which I did forget to, not sure if I mentioned that before, but is 6%, and this is from batch number 4. It would be interesting to see how these beers actually taste across batches. I think I've just given myself an idea for a future video that does involve buying more. The things I go through to bring you content. The finish does actually remind me a little bit of a Pilsner, actually. Dry, refreshing character, a little bit of that subtle hoppiness, earthy hurdle, a little bit of hop spice on the end as well. But it is it's a mild, very smooth bitterness that lingers, sort of like lingers in the middle of the back of the tongue after everything else is gone. It does have a dry-ish finish. Certainly a lot drier than what you expect from something from a barrel. What are my overall impressions of this beer here? This has recreated the vibe of a Pilsner in a barrel, I must say. It does very well at combining subtle oak barrel flavors and that complexity from that barrel fermentation process with some of those characteristics from a Pilsner, such as that dry savouriness and very subtle, like molten hop character going on. It's actually quite a good combination of the two, and you wouldn't know that it's 6% from drinking it. Well, at least from the flavour and the feel in the mouth, you wouldn't know that this is 6%. Looking at the bottle, you'd obviously know it's 6%, unless you can't read. Then drinking this whole bottle is not going to help you with that. But assuming you can read, then looking at it, you would know it's 6%. But you can. The one thing I will say though is being 6%, you can feel the alcohol a little bit once you start getting through the glass. So that's probably where it does differ from, say, that Pilsner inspiration. But this is a good example of taking a sort of pale golden ale style of beer inspired by a Pilsner and combining it with that complexity of the barrel fermenting. So you do get all of that. This is actually quite good, and I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I highly recommend it to you. Doing new, innovative things. Well, by new and innovative, they're really taking the past and making it new again, which I love the idea of that. I think that's tapping into the history and roots of beer. Really good to see and really fascinating. But if you want something different, something looks stunning in this, stunning bottle here, so you can really impress and show off, and you can show how much of an upper class beer snob you are. It's such an amazing bottle and such a unique, complex beer that is more than just a Pilsner or golden ale, but also has that complexity of an oak barrel. It's almost like the fine wine of beer, really. So thanks for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video as much as I have filming it and obviously tasting this amazing beer here. So make sure to hit the bell notification, subscribe, like, do all that stuff so you don't miss a minute and you don't miss our upcoming video on the third and final Legno beer that we will be trying. You definitely will not want to miss that. Now, there's a whole lot of craft beer out there, and I'm just getting started here on the channel with not only these beer tastings, but also with my own beer endeavours where I intend to bring my own beer to you. So again, thanks for watching, and keep exploring, tasting, and supporting those that bring us unique craft beer. Cheers.